There I go. Hi.
Hey!
You are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our networks and channels. I'm Mike Morales here in sunny Southern California. That gentleman out there is
Matt Metris in snowy Rochester, New York.
yikes. You got all your flannel on, and we've had a heat wave here.
Yeah.
It's been close to 90 here.
Ooh, I'll trade you. I'll trade you for a couple days.
No, come on out, man. It's nice and dry, and I'm telling you, shorts is I don't think I've worn a pair of pants in days. No, I'm wearing shorts. I am wearing pants.
That's why we're on Skype, Mike.
That's why we're on Skype. We're only dressed for you. I may or may not be wearing pants today. Oh my God, Matt and I'm excited. I'm excited for Matt. I'm excited for us because we are going to taste and dissect this brand new Bacanora. Check this out. Look at the branding on this baby. It is so old school looking. I mean, even the tape on the top here reminds me of some of the old school tequilas that like Arete used to come like this, and the labeling is all hand done. For those of you who have watched and seen us do Bacanoras, you know that they only come from Sonora and the state of Sonora, Mexico, and it's a fairly new spirit. We've done a few of these here on Sipping Off the Cuff. We've actually awarded Brands of Promise awards to these Bacanoras that are up and coming, and this is a new one, Vinateros. I gotta nominate this as a brand of promise in the packaging category because it's got that old school feel, kind of like the old vodka bottles used to look like this too. And we're gonna pop this baby open. We're gonna taste it first, then we're gonna tell you all the ins and outs, where it's coming from, who's bringing it to us. Oh, hello.
Oh, wow.
Wow, nice nose on this one. And I am going to use my Stossel Jarrito to...
Me too.
Yeah. If you hear any whistling, that's just the wind in my background. The first whiff was really very familiar to me because we've had several Bacanoras now. It is, for those of you familiar or unfamiliar with Bacanora, it is another style of mezcal. It does have its own denomination of origin, and it is made with Augustifolia How, which is sometimes they call it Agave Pacifica. Well, I wouldn't say it's pristine, but it looks. Of course, my lighting here is really bad. But nice legs and tears. Check that out. Very cool.
Absolutely.
And the first whiff, the first pass when I opened up the cork, very nice. Very plant-like and green.
Yeah, I got a lot of plant as well.
Yeah. Hardly any alcohol.
No.
Right
now. No, but a little bit of smoke, a little bit of remnants from the underground cooking.
Yes. Yeah, we'll give you a little hints as to how it's being produced, but then we'll go into the full notes a little bit later. I'm trying to get it to open up. Of course, we're using the Stossel Jarrito for the higher proof mezcals and tequilas that I like using. I love the wider nose. I mean, you can pretty much drink any mezcal out of your tennis shoe, and if it's good, it'll just give you another layer of complexity. Wow, this is really pleasant nose, though.
Yeah,
huh?
It is.
I'm getting vegetal, I'm getting mineral, I'm getting plant, I'm getting a smoke, like you said, smoke, very minimal smoke. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, it's not overwhelming.
It's charming. The smoke is charming. It's almost like it's wearing perfume.
Yeah. And it's kind of nice. The last few mezcals that we've done have not really had any of this smoke in it. So it's kind of nice and nostalgic.
Yeah, it is. Well, very, very nostalgic as the bottle looks as well.
Yeah.
And that's the reason the bottle looks the way it does also. But wow. And now the nose is much brighter than the look. It's not I wouldn't say it's a pristine Mescal, and I don't want to call it cloudy. It's not opaque. It's just not as shiny and bright as what we've been seeing, and
Sure.
that's okay for
Hmm.
what this is. Nice legs and tears. What else are we getting, dude?
Yeah, I get the plant is really overwhelming for me as the primary aroma.
Now,
There's something else I can't place.
there's like a citrus, like a grapefruit or something,
Mm,
maybe.
yeah, it's very subtle. It's very, and it wasn't in the first couple passes.
No,
Now that it's sitting for a couple minutes.
this bottle of mine has been sitting there for at least a few weeks. Because to be honest with you, they sent it to us like at the end of 2020, and we were already filming the 2021. You know, sipping off the cuffs, the new entries for the new brands of promise, and so it's been at room temp for a while.
Yeah, mine as well.
I like this. It's almost the smoke is very subtle.
Yeah, it's
I
almost I'm almost not even picking it up right now.
Yeah, it's almost like it's gone, like it disappeared, like it dissipated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see if it's on the palate, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
everything happened.
There's a lot to unpack right there. There's
Yeah, did you get I it was like, and it comes in waves. It's like first it's very sweet, and then there was some pepper, and then there was a smoke, and then now there's finish.
yeah. I
Wow.
got some fruit and maybe like some herbs as well. Like there's so much going on.
Yeah, I mean, if you blink, you missed it. I don't know if your tongue can blink, but there was a lot going on. And now I get more of the smoke on the back end of my palate. It is actually um, more perceptible.
Yeah, it starts really, really, really sweet.
Hmm.
Almost surprisingly sweet. Um, oh, I just got like maybe an anise or a licorice flavor too at the end there. There's a there's a lot going on. In the first pass or the first sip, I didn't get this in the second sip, but I got like maybe like some thyme or rosemary type herbaceous flavors.
Yeah, yeah. Then of course there was the pepper, and it was almost like an explosion, but it happened in waves.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And almost like a fruitiness, but almost like a dried fruit. Um,
Which is
there's the
really rare.
yeah.
This is an unaged Bacanora. They're calling it a Blanco, but we've heard in the past, that this is the Bacanoras are still in its infancy, and so they're borrowing benefits from other more established uh, denominations of origin and beverages. So some of them will be called Blancos. Some of them I'm familiar with them as Joven. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess their website says they have a reposado, but we only have a blanco, an unaged, a joven.
Correct.
So and that's good. I'm hoping that maybe later on in the year they'll have enough bottling to be able to. I appreciate them sending it to us because when I saw the look on Instagram, I fell in love with it, and I said I've
Mm-hmm.
got to try that one. Wow, one more pass. Let's see what we get, man. I'm getting like mineral, almost like a wet cement, but I'm
Mm.
getting it on the retro nasal. It's interesting how every technique that we have will get something different.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's just the nose, sniffing it, looking at it, and then like the third pass, this is like it's almost I think I'm getting like cheese or mushroom or something like that. It's almost like another like an asparagus, like another vegetation.
Yeah.
Um,
But like on the more bitterer side of vegetation, like I feel that asparagus. But I got like mixed with a little bit of mint.
so there you go again with the herbs because you got
Yeah.
kinds of rosemary and you got
Yeah.
I see the rosemary. I haven't gotten any anise because I'm usually very sensitive to that. I'll pick that up. But this is definitely a Bacanora you want to just sit with. It's like every pass you get something new.
Yeah.
And
You know what's also not there is any sort of overwhelming agave profile. I mean, you don't taste a lot of what we stereotypically think of as agave when we drink tequilas and mezcals. So it's
yeah, it's like everything else. Um, you know, it's almost it's difficult to try to place this into into what I can tell you is that what happens on your palate and your nose comes in phases. So I don't know if this the more it opens up or and it's not like it's unstable. Okay, it's not like a mixto where one shot's going to be harsh and the next one's going to be sweet. That's not what I'm saying. It's not that it's unstable. It's that there's so much going on that it
Mhm.
happens in waves. And I think now that I've had two or three passes, the smoke is now becoming a little bit more prominent on my palate. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to coat the palate where we're used to tequilas that are sweet, where the sweetness and the glycerin and
Mhm.
the French oak will coat your palate. This is the smoke is so gentle that it takes two or three passes before you even notice it on your palate, because you do notice it a little bit on the nose, but then it just disappears. I'm like
Yeah.
I'm like stunned. I
Yeah,
don't.
I agree with you. I can feel it on my tongue and my cheeks now. It almost like there's a smokiness in my mouth, and
Yeah,
it's
like I've had a cigar,
mhm.
and I like that. I mean, I'm cool with that because I love cigars. Um, let's. Wow, wait a minute. See, now that pass, I got more fruit. I got
Hmm.
more of the bright fruit. This is really. Oh my God! There's like everything in this thing. It was herbs and fruit, and like you said, mint. Yeah, I know. What a surprise, right? There's something
Mhm.
else in there.
Yeah. I'm letting it
Wow.
sit for a couple minutes. I'm trying really hard not to drink the rest of it.
There's
But you know, it takes a lot of restraint for me.
Yeah, well, for all of us, especially when it's something like this, because here let's get what kind of notes have we got on this? I have to first of all thank. It's a cute name. I don't know why they call it this. It's Giggle Waters Importers, all
Hmm.
right, and it's imported out of Florida.
Yeah.
Um, they wrote me a really nice little note. The people behind Giggle Water are Alexa Stauffer and the managing partners, and the other person is, and I think Alexa's my contact, the one that I got a hold of first, and the other managing partner is Chris Allison. They're both managing partners of Giggle Water Imports, and they wrote me a nice note. They said, "We hope you enjoy this bottle of Vinateros Bacanora Blanco as much as we do. It has been crafted with much care and respect to tradition," and I believe it.
Hmm.
That's why it looks the way it does. That's why they decided to go with the vintage look.
Hmm.
And what do we have on the POS on the notes?
So we know that it's 100% agave augustifolia haw, harvested by hand, roasted in an in-ground oven for 3 days with a quote unique blend of wood, naturally fermented for 8 to 14 days with spring water, distilled through double distillation, 40% ABV.
Wow, oh, and the master distiller is Jesus Maldonado, which
Yeah.
I like. I like that they're giving the vinatero, which is what the maestro mezcaleros in who do bacanora are known as the vinateros, and they're yeah, I know it's different nomenclature, right? Um, in bacanora jargon, they don't have palenques per se. They're known as vinatas, and it's the same with sotol. They're not it's basically a distillery, yeah, but it's not. It's a more rustic distillery, and so told us they're also known as vinatas. So just trying to keep track here, folks. Okay,
For
keep up,
real.
keep up. What's really cool is they have a whole list of cocktails. There are two things. One, this is not at a higher ABV. I'm really impressed with the fact that there's so much going on at 80 proof. Yeah, you got watermelon margarita, desert rose, an old fashioned with this, and I'm not sure which of the vinateros they're using. If they're using the blanco or if they're using the reposado. I really would love to see what they're aging this in and how that's turning out, because this blanco, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, with all the Bacanoras we've had, I like what's happening with this one. There is a lot of there's a lot going on at 80 proof, and I've had Bacanoras that come in at 80, and were a bit more watery. You know, that you could tell that they come in at a higher distillation and they cut it with water, and that's how they get it down to 80 proof. And I've had them at higher alcohol by volumes, but not with this much character. This reacts like one at higher ABV.
Yeah. And, on these cocktails, I'm noticing that almost all of them are emphasizing the fruit forwardness of this, and all sort of work with that. There's some blackberries and orange liqueur and cherry liqueur and lemon juice and elderflower liqueur with simple syrup. There's a lot of neat stuff going on here, and there's plenty in this bottle to try them all out here at home.
You sound like a bartender.
Yeah, for real.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that you're looking at the cocktail. For those of you that don't know, Matt and his brother, BC, before COVID, managed a destination restaurant and bar in Rochester, and so you're used to dissecting stuff like this and seeing how you can present more of the agave spirit, whatever it is that you're dealing with, in a better way. So I thought that was interesting that you brought that up, that the cocktails are more fruit forward. But I gotta say, there's a lot more going on.
Yeah, there really is. I think this is going to add some nice complexity to any cocktail. I actually am excited to try some of these, and I have most of these ingredients at home except for some watermelon cubes. Gotta go get a watermelon.
Yeah, well, it's snowing in Rochester. It's not like there's a whole lot. You don't have a lot of rosemary growing outside your windowsill or anything, right? Outside the front door.
Nope.
But see, what I thought was interesting is that you picked up all the herbaceousness and the different kinds. That was like the first thing you got besides the sweetness, on the first intake. I'm jazzed. This is really an amazing expression of this spirit right here.
Yeah. So what do you think? Brands of Promise?
Oh my God, absolutely. Wow.
I lost the one that I made myself. Would
you like me to send it back to you?
Yeah, exactly. I'll print another one out. And,
okay. I've got it. Actually, this is the old. I think it's the old graphic. I got to make a whole bunch of these new ones with our new graphic, our new medals. Yes, Brand of Promise nominee in the Bacanora category. Let me just before I sign off, I think I should give a little bit more background on the brand itself.
Sure.
For those of you who aren't familiar with Bacanora, they say agave silvestre de la Sonora. Silvestre means it's wild, so it's hand harvested, wild harvested, as we like to say. It was illegal, once known to be illegal. Bacanora is a sensational spirit with a story deeply rooted in Mexican history. Although it's able to be enjoyed throughout the country now, due to religion and politics, from 1915 to 1992, Bacanora was under federal prohibition. So it was like really literally for prohibition. Anyone caught drinking or selling the spirit risked imprisonment and even possibly death. And there's a lot of stories going on. For those of you who are following our agave spirits around the world, you'll be able to see, you can read that first leg of the trip where we talk about Bacanora, where a lot of people were actually put in jail for that. And that seems to be the case with a lot of agave spirits. They were illegal at one point in their history, at one point or another, and prosecuted and persecuted for making it.
Even tequila.
Well, tequila, yeah, for a while. Rather than give up the family tradition's livelihood, producers developed disguised methods in order to bootleg, that's right, bootleg Bacanora. And so they call themselves Vinateros. This is made in a traditional manner, twice distilled, naturally fermented. So I would imagine it's open air with a wooden vat, especially for as long as it takes. I'd like to know what they're using to distill it. If they're using a copper pot still, they're not telling us. But it is estate crafted on a small ranch outside of the town of Aconchi, Sonora, Mexico. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And wow, this is some awesome stuff. And it's only 80 proof.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, man, I'm impressed. I'm impressed as hell. Very, very well done. Thank you again to Giggle Water for making this happen. I don't even know if we have any price point on it at all.
Could not find any. Can't find anything. Yeah.
Wow. So we're the first again, as usual. We're the first to taste something that no one else has. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's available some parts of Florida. I'm not sure. But I'll get back to Giggle Water and thank them and find out a little bit more and see if we can't get a hold of the Reposado. So the way it is at 80 proof, you'd use it in a cocktail as well, huh?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow. Right. But spend time with it. Mm-hmm. I mean, this small sample, just every time we pass by, there's something new, something different. Wow, this guy, the maestro vinatero, and I don't even know if they even call them, but we call them master distillers. Jesus Maldonado, the guy's an alchemist, is all I can say.
Well done.
Well done. Congratulations to Vinateros Bacanora. That's our take on Vinateros. I'm Mike Morales here in sunny Southern California. That gentleman out there is
Matt Metris in subtly less sunny Rochester, New York.
He says wearing his flannel PJs. That's our take on Vinateros. Whatever you do, please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe, hit that notification bell also, so that way you get notified every time Matt and I upload a video. If you're listening to us on our podcast, download it, listen to us on Spotify or iTunes if you like. But whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.